what we have discussed in this slide in last class about initial process. What is initial process? It is basically related to the level 1 organizations, initial level organizations, you can say. And these kind of organizations, when normally any organization gets set up, they are in a startup phase. At that point of time, when things are not that much clear, this can happen if they have not started the um, organization in a planned way or a managed way. Then this can happen that they are still on level 1 and things are not clear, things are very much unmanaged, and organization is disorganized. So this you have to remember for this topic, why organizations are disorganized. uh, some points we have discussed. I will just take some of the terms name. Lack of commitment, extreme pressure, when things are getting rough, and then what we have to do to save the organization, that point we have discussed. Don't expect that it will take only less time to code out the things. Be ready for the changes in a continuous manner. Any technical or management issues can arise over time, so be ready for that. They can be a shock also, they can be surprise also. And then when the higher maturity level is already been reached for the organization, there can be the case that increased competition in the market or any technical challenges, they can put pressure on the processes of organization, and organization can drop down to the initial level. So these points we have discussed. Now we are moving to next slide. Some terms that we have to remember in initial process. First one is unplanned commitments. We have discussed about it also. Unplanned commitments are when new features, you can say, new things are visibly seeing simple to us. Okay, by watching over them, okay, yes, the new projects are coming, and the manager is thinking like, okay, it is easy to develop, and management may just commit to do it without any planning. So often the change is far more complicated than the person has thought before making the commitment. So these kind of commitments are called as unplanned commitments. The results relates to unplanned commitments leads to the confusion, changed priorities, and sometimes it relates, it will lead the complete team and the members of the organization into stress also. Okay, how to complete these commitments that we have made without even thinking. So that you have to remember about unplanned commitments. Second point is gurus. Gurus are, sometimes it can happen that the gurus in the organization, gurus in the way, you must have understood the gurus meaning in general terms is that is teaching you, guru is teaching you. Yes. So they can make it worse because they run projects out of their heads with nothing written down. Everyone comes to them for guidance. So what happens in this kind of scenario, gurus are basically, they play a crucial role. Suppose in this case, inside the organization, gurus can be your team lead, it can be your manager, who are guiding you to complete that project. So it can happen that if the managers, team leaders are not even clear in initial level organizations that what to do, how to proceed with the things, and they have just made the commitment to the upper management, and management has made commitment to the stakeholder, the investor, then their role becomes really important. It will affect the complete team, how they are working. So that's why they are saying that they can make the situation worse by not making clear to the upper management that we are not having that much of resources to work on this project. So that's why the role of gurus come here. Last one is magic. That term you have to remember. Magic is nothing but the savior for the organization. What in last slide also we have seen this thing. You have to wait, or you have to be ready for some savior that can save the organization. So that's why this magic term came up. So these terms, why I'm telling you these terms in this topic, they can come up in the objective questions in this particular topic. Okay, what role gurus, unplanned commitments, and the magic term plays in the initial process? How, what is the significance of these terms in initial process? So for that purpose, you have to remember these terms. If they are coming up in exam, don't get confused. Magic relates to that something is required which can save the organization. So that can be the new technology, that can be the new recruitment of some skillful person. So these kind of things can save the organization. Next one, again very important topic, that is a way out. Way out means ki how an organization can find a way out from these kind of situations. So that we have to discuss, and this topic can come up as a separate question, direct question in the exam. Okay, what are the way outs for initial level organizations? So first one is apply systematic project management. The work must be estimated, planned, and managed. Obviously, if some organization is not managed properly, what you have to think first, that you have to be clear about the estimated budget, estimated time for the projects that you are taking over, the projects for which the organization is making commitments. You have to plan them and you have to manage them in a proper way. So obviously that can be the first way out. You can make these answers by yourself also. Don't go with the cramming part, don't cram all these things. Just understand what we are talking about, and then you can make your own answers. Second point, adhere to careful change control. Changes must be controlled, including requirements, designs, implementation, and testing. So change control means obviously it happens in real time projects, that over the time or with the time, the changes will come up from the investor side or from the upper management side. Mostly it is like it depends on the end customer who is going to utilize that product. From their side, changes will, requirements will come up, the requirements will change, or they want to change some layout of the if you're working on some website. So you will get some changes for sure, and in a continuous manner it happens with real time projects. So adhere to careful change control. So those change control, that means your team, your organization should be ready for those changes. Don't believe ki initially the requirements are being taken up, and now it's clear, now nothing can be changed, and you have to just work, you have to just implement, you have to just design on the basis of those initial taken requirements. That in real life it doesn't happen. It is just in theoretical way we say that we have taken the requirements, and we are just developing the product and we will deliver it. In real life it doesn't happen. So adhere to careful change control, that change control is required for the organization. That can be the another way out. Next, third one, utilize independent software assurance. An independent technical means is required to assure that all essential product activities are properly performed. So software assurance means it is talking about the technical means that are going on in the team for development of the product, and some that assurance, that independent software assurance means you can say that technically you are ready, technically you can perform all the changes. So you can also relate it with the technologies that you are utilizing, that are going on in the market, and that gives assurance to the customer also, who is finally going to utilize this end product, this developed product. So this independent technical assurance is required. That can also be another way out for level 1 organizations or initial level organizations. So you have to work on these things. If you are on level 1 in any startup or in any organization, the organization is still learning, and they are in the learning phase, and gradually they will develop. So with these kind of things, if they are working properly on these things, definitely they will go to the upper levels and they will get mature with time. So these are some way outs that you have to remember. 3 way outs that we have discussed. Another thing one another question can come up in exam from initial level, that they can ask you to discuss some of the basic principles for controlling that disorganization in any software organizations. So what can be those basic principles? So again, you can relate things from this first slide, from this second slide. You can make several points from this one. I will again repeat some things. Plan the work first. Track and maintain that plan that is being done, or that is being developed. That plan model has been developed, work model you can say. Divide the work into the individual parts. Don't go in a very fast manner that we have to develop everything in one go. So divide the work. You can divide the work into the teams in a proper manner so that it can be efficiently developed. Define the requirements for each part and prioritize your requirements. These can be the basic principles to control the disorganization in any level 1 organization. So for that one, I'm just telling you how you can make the points. Treat software development as a learning process. Don't think it like it is a burden on you and you are doing it unwillingly. If you will work like that, then it will not work. Recognize what you don't know, so that the team, or you can discuss with the manager and the upper management to provide some training to you. And they should know that what you know properly, what you are expert of, and what you don't know. These things should be clear. Manage, assess, and review the work to ensure it is done as planned. So that process assessment part that we have discussed, that also can become one of the major point to control that disorganization in any level 1 organizations. Commit to your work, do it willingly, and work on to your commitments. Whatever commitments you have made, either as a team member you have made some commitment to the team lead, and team lead, as a team lead, if team lead has made some commitment to the manager, if manager has made some commitment to the upper management, senior management, and obviously senior management, if they have made some commitment to the stakeholder who is investing money into the project and they are going to utilize that project, then work on to those commitments. Even if you are lagging behind somewhere, get trained yourself and be ready for the things. So these are some points that I told you. In this way you can make the answers. Okay, I hope this particular topic is clear to you all. So this was about the initial process that we have started yesterday and we are completing today. I'm moving to next slide, and we are starting next topic, that is repeatable process. What is the repeatable process? Repeatable process is nothing but the level 2 organizations we are talking about. If you remember that particular diagram of maturity framework, this is level 2. So in this level 2, before starting about the points and other stuff, when you are watching a independent question about repeatable process in exam, that means get into your mind you have to talk about commitments, complete about commitments. Every question, in every question related to repeatable process, you have to write about commitments. So remember this. Now we will start. What is repeatable process? Now here, first, what we have discussed in during the maturity framework topic, that the level 2 organizations are basically have some things clear, like they know what will be the estimated budget, they know what will be the estimated time for the completion of the project, and level 2 organizations are clear about what will be the input to the project and what will be the output to the project. So these things are clear to the organizations. So here, the because of all these things, that's why this term of commitment comes up, because we are committing कि within this period of time, within this budget, we will complete the thing. So this is, that's why repeatable process is all about commitments. Next, we will discuss this thing, managing software organizations, the basic principle of project management. So some of the principles you have to remember under repeatable process for the management of the project. So each project has a plan that is based on hierarchy of commitments, obviously. So it starts with the senior management. Senior management has made the commitment to the stakeholder. Then it discussed the senior management has discussed the thing with the manager, and manager has made commitment to the senior management. Then manager has discussed the thing with team lead. Team lead has made some commitments to the manager, and then team lead has discussed things with the team members, and team members, separate team members, that team members can be can include developer, tester, designer. So all these people have made some commitments to the team lead. So it becomes one hierarchy. That's why it is being said that each project has a plan that is based on some hierarchy of commitments. So this hierarchy flow goes in this way. Next, management system resolves the natural conflicts between the projects and between the line and staff organization. So that manage it is basically talking about the senior management involvement, the staff organization, how the staff people are working, and how what things they require. So if there are any commitments, if some one person in the team or the manager or team lead is facing some problems, so those kind of conflicts to be resolved by the management system. To be resolved means these things should be there. We are not talking about it always happens. We are please be sure that we are talking about these things should be there for the proper development of the product or project. Last one, an oversight and review system. An oversight and review system audits and tracks progress against the plan. So it is about your process management. Again and again, we are visiting the same points. You just have to present them in a different way. So the system audits and tracks progress against the plans. So whatever plans being made in the organization, they are being assessed, they are being audited, and they have been reviewed to check whether it is giving the fruitful results or not, or if there are some scope of improvements are there, and according to which planning should be done. The foundation of software project management is the commitment discipline. Commitments are supported by plans, reviews, and so forth, but commitments are met by people. Obviously a person is making commitment to the upper level, and another person is making commitment to their upper level. So obviously they have to work on it, they have to plan for it, they have to check again and again whether they are going on a correct pace or not. So this particular thing is talking about that thing, people and commitments. So these kind of lines, again I'm telling you, you can make by your own. In this slide, I have told you 2-3 things what you have to remember in repeatable process, some basic principles to manage the project. All in all, you have to talk about commitments in repeatable process. And last one, we have discussed about people and commitments, how people have to work on those commitments. I'm moving to next slide. Elements of effective commitment. So obviously this question can come up as a separate question in exam, direct question. What can be the elements of effective commitment, or discuss about effective commitment, discuss some points about effective commitment. According to you, what do you understand by the term effective commitment? So for all these questions, you can utilize these points that are written over here. Okay, we will go through them one by one. They are not so difficult to understand. If some very important term will come up in between, I will explain it to you. Okay, the first one. The person making the commitment does so willingly. So it should not be under pressure. You can relate this point with the initial process, first point that we have discussed. Under pressure, managers can make commitments. So it should not be like that. Everything should be clear inside the organization between all the people related to each other. Um, a person should not feel scared in organization that if I will tell something bad about the process of the organization, then what will happen to me, whether I will lose a job or something. That kind of thing should not be there. Be truthful. If you are capable to do the thing, if the resources are available to you, then only commit. Otherwise tell directly to the to your boss or whoever is the upper management involved. tell them directly that this is the problem that I will face because of the lack of resources, or because, or whatever you are feeling. If you are not comfortable in the team, these kind of things should be clear. It is not like if you are doing this thing, sometimes it happens in real time projects ki people feel like ki it will be embarrassing if I will talk about these things. It will be like I'm making excuses. No, it is like I'm just making it clear to you in a very calm and kind way that this is the scenario and this is the real situation going on in the team. This is the situation of resources, this is the situation of budget, and it should be clear to the upper level, so that according to that only they are making commitments. So that's why you have to make those commitments willingly. Don't do the work unwillingly. Commitment is not made lightly. It should be on the serious basis that we have just discussed, on the basis of the resources available and other stuff. There is agreement between parties on what is to be done by whom and when. So when an investor comes to the company, or when a company is committing to someone that we will develop this thing, it happens in our with government organizations. I have seen this thing that if we are talking, I will give you one example. I have seen this in person, that in Department of Atomic Energy here in NFC in Hyderabad, they used to take some projects from outside. They give money to them, private companies, and they ask them to develop some machine or some software websites. And for that purpose, the agreement happens between both parties, between that private company and this government organization. And one person represents that government organization, and one person represents that private organization for developing that product for that government purpose. So, and there is some budget for that. So what happens, that government organization who is going to utilize that machine, they should know, or they ask that the person of that private organization, the representative, that who is going to develop that project. And also that representative of government organization search out on the reviews of that previous reviews on that person also, whether they have done the work in previous projects well or not. So here comes this agreement terms. They both get agreed that this person will develop, in how much time it will get developed, and what is to be developed. So all these things happen in a documented manner, in a written manner. Okay, either through mails or some documents or some handwritten documents. In this way it happens, but it is there, it is there. Next one, commitment is openly stated. Openly stated means ki in presence of the managers, in presence of the team leaders, in presence of the team members. Okay, team leaders sometimes can discuss it separately, but usually it happens that it is openly stated in presence of every person who will get involved in the development of the project, so that everyone will get to hear what commitment people are making to the outside person they are going to utilize that project, and accordingly they have to work on it. That's why the term openly stated came. The person tries to meet the commitment even if help is required. So be ready for this thing. In if you're working on some project under some organization, that don't think like, yeah, I know everything. Be ready for the learning phase. From every person involved in the team you get to learn something. So you have to be that much visible, you have to be that much flexible with the people around you, even if it sometimes it becomes tough to learn something from the experts, but you have to be committed to that one, that whatever happens I have to ask questions, I have to learn this particular part. So here, if even help is required, you should be that much flexible. You should not have that much of ego into yourself that it will embarrass me if I will ask something from someone, even if the person is of your level or at your lower level. Even sometimes your juniors can tell you good things if they are expert of something. So that kind of attitude should not be there. It will make me embarrassed in front of someone if I will ask something, if I will take help from someone. Okay, next one, prior to the commitment date, if it is clear that it cannot be met, advance notice notice is given and new commitment is negotiated. So obviously it is hierarchy of commitments only that leads to the development of project. If you are not able to complete one commitment, that suppose I am saying okay, within this week I will give you some functional part of this project, but because of some situation, because of some resources, or because of some, suppose the developer gets sick for this week, there's some personal emergency came up and they went on leave, so that commitment can't be developed, can't be fulfilled. So in that kind of scenario, advance notice should be given to the upper people that yes, this week this commitment, this particular deadline can't be met, this particular thing can't be developed because of this reason, so you have to delay the next commitment also. So in the same way the complete project will get delayed. But yes, it can if the commitment was very small, then we can overcome it on the with the fast work in the later weeks. So this can also be the situation. So but the thing is, if this happens, you have to plan accordingly and you have to make it clear to the people that this is happening. Next one, some another terms that you have to remember in a repeatable process that can come up as objective questions also: product plans and period plans. These two terms, and another one is contention process. So what are they? What is this period plan? So period plan and product plan. Period plan relates to the activity plan, or it is also called as operating plan. What is the meaning of this? What is the definition of this? Period plans or operating plans, it deals with technical issues and the business issues in annual and organizational teams. The expenses, budget, requirements, product delivery, the commitments for the delivery of the product, they are being established for each period by each organizational entity. So they are talking about some particular time, particular period of time. You can think it like for just now we have discussed about it कि within week or within 2 weeks we are committing to develop this thing. So these are called as period plans. In this particular period, what we have to do, how we have to do, and we have to reach to this commitment, we have to fulfill this thing. So that is called as period plan. Product plan relates to the overall product, overall project development. So this product plan focus on the activities and objectives of each product that you have taken up as a project to develop it. So it relates with the, you have to check whether all the objectives are being completed for the product, and product is in stage now to get it delivered to the customer. So these are called as product plans. And if something is left, then you have to plan accordingly for the overall product. So here two terms came up. Product plans relates to the overall product. Period plans relates to the, it relates to the product only, but to the one particular activity that you are being committed for some particular period of time that will complete it. So I hope I made these two terms clear. And obviously this can come up in your um, exam as ke, differentiate between product and period plan. I don't think it can come up as a very big question because there is nothing much to discuss about a lot. But yes, it can come in objective questions only. Product plan, period plan. First is here. It product relates to the overall project. Period relates to some particular period of time. Period plans deals with the technical issues, business issues. Product plans deals with the your objectives and your activities, whether they are being completed for the complete project or not in relation to the complete project. Then you can go through this line also that is written over here. Project personnel view their work as the fundamental business of organization and have little appreciation for period information. So you can say the customers, they finally they are bothered about the complete product being delivered. But if you are giving them in a some period of time some functional thing or some prototype, then they, it will be appreciated. Obviously it can maintain a good relation with the customer. So these things you have to remember in these terms. Contention process we will discuss. What is this contention process? So, an effective management system requires a parallel contention process to encourage the open expression of differences and their rational resolution. So, this contention process relates to that thing that um, you are having that much of freedom to discuss the differences. You can express your opinion with the team, with the manager, and if upper management, senior management is too much involved in the things, for large organizations sometimes it happens that they are very less involved, but if they are very much involved, then to the upper management also, you can express your things, you can express your opinions and find out some solutions for the problems that are occurring in the organization. So for that one, contention process is required. Some of the things for contention process you have to remember that I will tell you. Just listen to it properly, and for this thing question can come up, okay, what is the significance of contention process in repeatable level or repeatable process or level 2 organization also. What is the role the contention process plays for level 2 organization? So I'm utilizing these terms, don't get confused. Level 2, repeatable process, repeatable level, these all we are talking about same thing. Level 2 organizations, repeatable level organization, repeatable process, same thing. Okay. About this contention process, I will not take much time about it, because we are going to out of time also very soon. Less than 2 minutes only there it is showing to me. Okay, see, some of the things that you have to remember about contention processes. All the important decisions are reviewed with the involved parties in advance. The commitments that are being made in starting only, they have to be checked whether it is according to the resources only. And in contention process, because you can express your opinion, every person can tell whether they are out of resources, whether they are out of skill, so they can discuss this thing. That's why this contention process plays important part. The parties are requested to agree with the commitments made. Both parties should get agreed. Wherever possible, any issues are resolved before proceeding only. Before proceeding with the development of project, these kind of things should be resolved on initial basis. So that is part of contention process. You should sit together, you should discuss things. When the time comes for a decision, all parties are present and asked to state their views. So it you can relate it with the meeting. One meeting is happening where everyone is involved in the project are together sitting and they are discussing about it. When there is no agreement, senior management determines if there is knowledgeable agreement, if any disagreeing parties are absent, or if more preparation is needed. So these kind of things happen, that if some party is disagreeing on something, some resources or some development, then it should be clear. And in absence of them, senior management have to determine some representative on their behalf. So I will not go further. It is showing me less than 1 minute. I am ending up today's lecture here. So before this meeting gets end up. So we have discussed about some things about repeatable process, initial process we have completed. I hope I made my points clear.